Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we're going to be talking about some things that Rockstar have revealed about Red Dead Online in the last couple of Newswire posts, where they've talked about some new details about this multiplayer version of Red Dead Redemption 2 and how they think things are going to shake out. So, the first thing that Rockstar has made very apparent is that they're pretty serious about taking feedback for Red Dead Online. And right now, I think there's a handful of things that seriously need to be addressed by Rockstar. And I'll leave the Newswire post as well as the link to submit feedback for Red Dead Online in the description. But so far, it looks like it's clear Rockstar has heard some of the feedback, because they said, in response to some early feedback we've seen from players, here are a few quick tips to help you succeed and thrive on the frontier. Now, I don't quite understand that second part. Like, we've heard feedback from people, here's some tips. Like, I would almost expect them to say, we've heard some feedback and changes will be made, not necessarily like, here are some tips. Now, if I had to take like my top 2 or 3 things I would address, the first would certainly be the economy. Now, I don't know if this is going to change, but right now it's really hard to make money. Things are incredibly expensive. Right now, I don't love the idea of gold bars being like a second currency. It's a little bit early to judge that right now, because maybe there will be a microtransaction that gives you like 1,000 gold bars or 100 gold bars, and that will, set you up for life. So if that option is there, you can go buy all this stuff. But right now, at least in the early stages, with such little to do, it feels like we are in a serious grind for money and cash in Red Dead Online. The second thing would be make improvements to griefing. So right now, the only way in which you can truly be passive is at your camp and if the white flag is raised. And I don't think this is necessarily fair, because what if you're hunting or fishing? Why are you being punished for doing activities that Rockstar have said they want you to do? But if you're hunting or fishing, someone could just come up behind you and put a stick of dynamite at your feet, or they could lasso you. So I think there needs to be some like passive restrictions. Maybe Rockstar could more utilize the honor system that they currently have in the game. Like, for example, if you have good honor, it gives you the chance to go in passive mode, which would incentivize players to not be a terrible person, not grief and stuff like that. So I don't know. Those are just some ideas, but it definitely seems as if Rockstar is listening to the feedback. And what's probably helping this the most is that a lot of mainstream like gaming media outlets like Polygon and more are talking about how bad the economy is in Red Dead Online. So typically when big outlets like that pick it up, we usually see a response from Rockstar. I just hope it's not something really simple, like they make things 5% cheaper. Because while that's still better, it's not great and doesn't really solve any problems. So I'm hoping that that is not the case. Now, the next thing Rockstar revealed on that Newswire, they said, look for lots more updates to Red Dead Online beta in the coming weeks and months, along with some more tips here at the Newswire. So I would imagine that just like the Newswire post I'll leave in the description, Rockstar will give us some more tips on, whatever some of the features are in the game. But I'm excited to see what more updates Rockstar could add to the beta. And they specifically said beta here. If I had to take a guess on the things that Rockstar would add, I would imagine they're going to add more PvP game modes. So whether that's different types of races or more styles of adversary modes, which we haven't really seen a ton of yet, I can see them adding a lot of things like that that are really easy to implement, that take you to another lobby. Another thing I could see them adding is maybe more, I say the word vehicle, but I'm going to use that lightly. I'm talking about wagons and maybe upgrades to horses, or maybe even different types of horses in the game. I could see them adding more of that. I could also see them adding more properties. Now, we actually saw in the companion app files of the game that properties were going to be available to purchase, but so far we only have the camp. So it kind of makes you wonder, is that something that will come later on in the beta? Will this come at a different point in time? Because there's definitely tons of opportunities like houses and stuff like that that give us the ability to purchase a lot of those cool places in game. And speaking of that, this is something that a lot of you guys have been asking, is when does Red Dead Online take place? Red Dead Online takes place before the campaign of Red Dead Redemption 2. So I'm not going to give away any big spoilers here, but there's a lot of characters that appear in Red Dead Online that wouldn't make sense if they appeared if it took place after the game. Same with some of the locations in game too. There's some places that you go through in the story mode where they just simply wouldn't exist if it took place afterwards. So it definitely happens before the story. So that should give you a good idea of when things occur. Now, sort of building off that, we were talking about the camp feature. That's another thing I could also see Rockstar adding more improvements to, because right now there's not a lot. You've got the outfits for Cribs or Crib. I don't know what his name is. Crips, something like that. You have his outfits. You have the theme, which there's like 5. You have like 8 different tents, and then some colors for flags. Like, that's nothing. So I can definitely see Rockstar adding more things for the camps, because as of right now, that's really the only property, and it's really one of the things they could add on to. So those are the sort of the things I could see Rockstar adding, at least within the first couple of weeks and months. Simple things, but also at the same time giving us more things to enjoy and buy. I could also see lots of changes being made, like features. It would be really nice if Rockstar sort of implemented some quality of life changes. I definitely think that would be pretty cool, but who knows? We really will just have to wait and see for something like that. Now, going back to the Newswire post that Rockstar actually made before Red Dead Online came out, or when early access actually was announced, one thing that was a little bit worrisome to me was something they said at the very end. Is they might actually have to do a progress wipe. So they said, we hope that all player progress during this early period of the beta will be able to remain intact long term. However, as with many betas for large-scale online experiences such as this, there is always the chance that we may need to implement rank or other stat resets in case of issues. So this is obviously scaring a lot of people, and for good reason, because I know people who have already invested tens of hours into Red Dead Online, ranking up their characters, getting weapons, doing all sorts of stuff, and there's a chance that all of that might be for nothing because you could be reset. Now, I imagine that Rockstar does not want to do that, but they might not have a choice. If they make updates to the game or want to make updates to the game that requires them to reset all their servers, reset the online system, then that's something they're just simply going to have to do. There's no way around it. Now, sort of building off of that, I think the in-game store will not be added until Rockstar go past this point. Like, until they can guarantee that progress will not be reset, we're not going to see the in-game store. Because that would be silly to spend, hundreds of dollars on gold bars in the store and then have your progress reset. Like, that would just be a nightmare for Rockstar. So I don't think we're going to see that. So I don't know if Rockstar is ever going to come out and say, like, hey, we're past the point of you getting potentially reset. I think whenever they add the store into the game, we're pretty much good to go. But that is scary because I've invested a lot of time into this. I know a lot of players have as well. I mean, at the end of the day, it wouldn't be a horrible experience. It would just give me the chance to sort of start over and maybe learn from some of the things I didn't do well in the beginning. But it would still be a pain to do the tutorial. It would still be a pain to, rank up and unlock all of those awards. So that is something that I am a little bit worried about. And I could totally see Rockstar having to do this just because it's a beta after all. And I think that's why Rockstar wanted to put the beta tag on this multiplayer mode so that they could basically justify doing stuff like this. And I am a little bit worried about it. And I think some of you guys should be worried about it as well. So the moral of this story is try not to get too attached to everything you have currently in Red Dead Online until we get the word from Rockstar that servers are not going to be reset, status is not going to be wiped. Essentially, just don't prematurely celebrate here of anything you've done because at a moment's notice, it might be wiped. And there's almost nothing that you or maybe even Rockstar could potentially do about it. Now, another thing I could see Rockstar adding is more story-based missions. So the way Rockstar have sort of set up the story so far, and this really isn't a spoiler, is the missions, while they make sense, like there is like an ending, the missions are kind of random. They just have you doing different tasks for different characters that you meet, sort of based off of your honor. So that's an opportunity that they could continue to add on to. I mean, there's a couple of characters like Horley, and then that lady, I think her name is Jessica Leclerc. And then, of course, all the strangers that you run into, that's something else that Rockstar could add. You know, there's a ton of single-player characters, and as I mentioned, because it takes place in the beginning of the game and before the actual story of Red Dead Redemption 2, they pretty much have a limitless amount of characters they can add. In fact, we've even seen them add characters from the first Red Dead Redemption game. So they don't even have to be in RDR2 to make an appearance in Red Dead Online. And I think that's pretty neat. And the final thing Rockstar sort of mentions is just a reiteration of everything I've been talking about in this video. They said, make sure you're staying tuned here at the Rockstar Newswire for regular updates about Red Dead Online, including new content additions, features, changes, and other news about the game. And they also say at the very end, stay tuned for more updates to Red Dead Online over the next coming weeks and months. So I'm not sure when we will see more details on Red Dead Online. I mean, it only has been out less than a week. Maybe we see this in the upcoming week. Maybe we see this before the end of the new year. I'm not too sure, but I am excited for all the changes that could potentially happen. But I'm also worried as well because I really don't want my character to get wiped. I've played other games where there were consistent server wipes, and it just kills all the momentum you have. And that's something I think Rockstar might fear as well, losing some of their player base because of a server wipe. Some people just might not want to put the time in to rebuild a character, and I can kind of understand that. So it's something they will have to strongly consider. But anyways, that's all the information that I've got for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating on this video. That'd be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.